Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today we're checking out 4 brand new Kershaw models that are using the crossbar lock. This is the first time Kershaw is using the crossbar lock. Now, Kershaw did send these to me, but I'm not going to let that affect how I feel about any of these knives. Now, they did recently come out with two new USA-made knives, and you guys know I'm always rooting for them to come out with more USA-made knives. Hopefully, I will get those on the channel. But first, let's check these out, which this is a very, very slicey blade. D2 steel, basically a spear point blade. GFN handles, deep carry clip that is reversible because a crossbar lock is ambidextrous. Now, this one is the only one out of the 4 that uses washers. So this one does have a little bit stiffer action, but you know, washers do break in very nicely, and it's still, you know, very, very smooth. And you know, some people would prefer washers over bearings, but the other ones are bearings. Now, we have a few standoffs in the back that do add a little bit to the rigidity. It is nice and comfortable in the hand, and yeah, super solid knife. Now, the blade geometry, 87 thousandths blade stock thickness, very, very thin, and then about 18 thousandths behind the edge, so it has a nice slow taper. Yeah, this thing is going to be a mega cutter, and because of the blade shape, it's going to be great for EDC utility cuts. You can slice, you can reverse it around and do pull cuts. It's going to be a very versatile blade shape. Now, if I had any complaints, I'm not a big fan of GFN, but that's just, you know, that's just me. You know, I'm not going to critique it for having it. I'd prefer other handle materials, but, you know, it is still a durable handle material that, you know, you can throw around, you know, and it does work out good on work knives, which this absolutely is. The only real complaint I have is a twofold. One, I wish the plunge grind and choil was done a little bit better. I can see that they tapered the plunge grind down to the edge. It almost looks like it's done perfectly, but it definitely tapers down. I prefer it to have a subtle stop so that the end of the plunge grind is away from the edge. The next thing is T6s. I prefer T8s all the way around. Not that big of a deal. But yeah, I'd rather see T8s. Now, the next one is a flipper, and it has a really cool sound. Listen to this sound. Very cool acoustics. Again, D2 blade, this one's coated, so it's going to be, you know, more corrosion resistant because D2 is not a stainless, so having the coating on there, you know, definitely could help you, especially in corrosive environments. Somewhat of a modified spear pointish blade, but again, super thin geometry. This thing is going to cut. GFN handles, again, deep carry clip that is reversible. You just got to take that screw out and flip it over to the other side and push it in there and then put the screw in. Ergonomically, you know, it's a bit small, but you know, it's still relatively comfortable in the hand, and you can always take advantage of the flipper tab and choke up a little bit. Access to the crossbar lock is very, very easy. Now, the beautiful thing about this is the detent. They tuned the detents on these so good. Very, very snappy. Surprisingly good. You know, a lot of times crossbar locks can be a little bit tricky with the detents, but this is super solid. Great, great action. Now, the only complaints I have on this one is, again, sharpening tool and plunge grind, T6s. I prefer T8s, and I'd love to see them do a better choil and plunge grind for when you sharpen the knife. You don't have to worry about creating a smile, hitting your stone, or making it look ugly. But this is a work knife, so I don't think it's too big of a deal, but it's something I prefer. Next is another flipper. Now this one is, oh, by the way, this one was the monitor. The Kershaw monitor. I don't know if I said it. I probably put it on the screen, but this one is the Heist, the Kershaw Heist. Drop point blade, again, super duper slicey, D2 steel. This one has a stone wash or a, you know, an acid etched stone washed blade. GFN handles, and so far of the three, the next one's my favorite one, but of the ones we've checked out so far, this one is definitely the most comfortable, very comfortable in the hand, and you can always choke up a little bit over the flipper tab. Again, they perfected this detent. So snappy. You just have to break the detent and it flies. Very, very snappy. Reversible deep carry clip again, because, you know, these are ambidextrous. Now, this is so far my favorite one, but the next one is my favorite one out of all these. But again, sharpening tool and plunge grind, I'd rather see that fixed a little bit, and I'd rather see T8s instead of T6s, but it is what it is. Either way, super snappy action, and, you know, it's a cool knife. Now this one is my favorite of the four, and this is the Iridium, but this one has aluminum scales with an aluminum backspacer that turns into a lanyard hole. Inset deep carry clip that is reversible, and it is riding on bearings. Now, again, nice thin geometry on this beautiful spear point blade that has a nice set and finish on it, D2 steel. And this one is the most comfortable of all the knives in the hand. It is so comfortable. This is going to be a fantastic user. The blade shape is going to be good for utility cuts. You can turn it around. The spine is nice and straight, so reversing it around to do a pull cut is going to be nice and comfortable. Doing push cuts or slicing is also going to be very comfortable, and you can always spread out, you know, and because it's not a flipper, even though they do have a little bit of a guard here from so you don't slip up the handle, you can also take advantage of that to get up a little bit closer to the edge. Now on this one, they did a perfect plunge grind and choil. You can see they started the plunge grind right there. They ended it very quickly, so you have all of this life to sharpen off of the blade before you'll ever hit the plunge grind. Absolutely love that. Now this one does have the T6s, not that big of a deal. Stupid good action. The thumb studs are easy to get to. They hang up just enough to where they're easy to get your thumb onto and snap out. Good amount of tension for the detent. And yeah, very snappy. And then because it's on bearings, all you do is pull down the crossbar lock and it is closing. And you can always pull down the crossbar lock, you know, and do the open like that. You know, use it like a gravity knife a little bit. But all in all, this one's my favorite one by far. Then this one. Then I would say probably this one. And then this one, even though this one is the coolest sounding one. It's just more of a size thing. You know, this one is on washers, which I do like the bearings a little bit more, but I just love this blade shape and the ergos on this one a little bit more than this one. But anyways, there you guys go. Just a quick look at them. This is not a full review. I will link everything I can down in the description, and I am going to do my best to get the new USA-made Kershaws on the channel. I'm always rooting for Kershaw. They do have a place in my heart. You know, they were the first, basically the first good quality knife that I was using, or that I started using as far as pocket knives go. I used them in construction on the job site, so you know, because of that reason, you know, I always am rooting for them. But you know, that doesn't mean that they are, you know, not. I won't criticize them or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying I'm always rooting for them to come out with killer designs and knock them out of the park. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.